Welcome back, my great and very important friends, and thank you so much for being here today. I'm truly excited that you've joined this video, because what we're about to explore is one of those stories that can completely change the way you look at something as small and ordinary as a single penny. Today we are talking about the Liberty 1 cent Liberty 2013 USA coin, a modern coin that most people would consider almost worthless, something you wouldn't even bother picking up off the ground. Yet, according to collectors, theories, rare discoveries, and extreme possibilities tied to minting errors, mistakes, and mint mark variations, this 1 cent coin has been linked to astonishing valuations reaching as high as $321,000 million. That gap between 1 cent and such an unimaginable figure is not just surprising, it's mind-blowing, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why collectors and enthusiasts take coins like this so seriously. At first glance, the 2013 Lincoln cent looks familiar and unremarkable. It carries the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that has been part of American coinage for more than a century. The word Liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, the date 2013 to the right, and the motto above. On the reverse, depending on the specific design used that year, you see a continuation of modern themes introduced in recent decades, reflecting unity, history, and national identity. Millions, even billions, of Lincoln cents were struck in 2013, and they passed through countless hands, cash registers, pockets, and purses. Most people spent them without a second thought. And that's exactly what makes the story so fascinating, because hidden among these ordinary coins are extraordinary possibilities. To truly understand how a 2013 1 cent coin could be associated with such a massive value, we need to look closely at how modern coins are made and where things can go wrong. Even with advanced technology, computer-controlled machinery, and strict quality control, the minting process is not perfect. Coins are still physical objects created by machines operating at high speed under immense pressure. Whenever metal, force, and motion come together, there is room for error. And in numismatics, errors are not just mistakes, they are potential treasures. Every Lincoln cent begins its life as a blank piece of metal known as a planchet. For 2013 cents, planchets were primarily zinc cores coated with copper plating, a composition that has been used for decades to reduce costs. These planchets are punched from metal sheets, cleaned, and prepared before being fed into high-speed presses. At this early stage, problems can already arise. If the zinc core is flawed, if the copper plating is uneven, or if the planchet is damaged during handling, the resulting coin will permanently display those defects. One of the most common modern errors involves plating issues. Because the copper coating on a zinc cent is very thin, any disruption can cause blisters, bubbles, peeling, or exposed zinc. A 2013 cent with missing or partial copper plating can appear silver gray instead of its usual copper color. Some coins show dramatic plating splits, where large areas of copper have lifted away from the zinc core. These errors are highly visible and immediately draw the attention of collectors. Another related error is the split planchet or split plating error. In these cases, the copper layer separates from the zinc core either partially or almost completely. Coins like this look unusual and fragile, almost like they are shedding their skin. When such errors occur cleanly and are clearly the result of minting issues rather than damage after circulation, they become highly desirable. Off-center strikes are another category of error that can affect 2013 Lincoln cents. Even with modern alignment systems, planchets sometimes fail to sit perfectly centered between the dies. When struck, the design appears shifted, leaving a blank crescent-shaped area on one side of the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike, and the more of the date and Liberty remain visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. A heavily off-center 2013 cent that still clearly shows its identifying features can be worth many times its face value. Broad strikes are also possible in modern coinage. These occur when the collar that normally contains the planchet during striking fails to engage. Without the collar, the metal spreads outward under pressure, producing a coin that is wider than normal with a flat, expanded edge. Broad-struck cents are instantly recognizable, and when they occur on modern coins like the 2013 cent, they demonstrate that even advanced minting technology is not immune to failure. Multiple strikes add another layer of fascination. If a coin is not properly ejected after being struck, it can be struck again, sometimes more than once. This creates overlapping images, distorted portraits, and chaotic patterns that look almost artistic. A multiple-struck 2013 Lincoln cent might show Lincoln's face doubled, rotated, or partially overlapping itself. Each multiple-strike error is unique, making these coins especially appealing to collectors. Die-related errors are among the most important factors when discussing extreme values. Dies are steel tools used to impress the design onto coins, and they are used repeatedly. Over time, dies wear down, crack, and sometimes break. When a cracked die is used, the crack appears as a raised line on every coin struck afterward. As the damage worsens, pieces of the die can break away, creating raised blobs or missing details on the coin surface. Some die breaks become very large and dramatic, sometimes referred to as cut errors. These occur when a chunk of the die near the edge breaks off, resulting in a raised, shapeless area along the rim of the coin. A 2013 cent with a large cut error is instantly eye-catching and can command a strong premium. Doubled dies are among the most famous and valuable types of mint errors. These errors occur during the creation of the die itself, when the design is impressed more than once in a misaligned manner. The result is a die that produces coins with clearly doubled features. True doubled dies show strong separation and depth, not just flat or blurry doubling. On a 2013 Lincoln cent, doubling might appear on the date, the word Liberty, Lincoln's eye or beard, or other design elements. Confirmed double die varieties are catalogued and eagerly sought by collectors. Mint mark errors, while less common in modern coinage due to changes in minting practices, still play a role in discussions of rarity. Depending on the year and minting process, anomalies related to mint marks can occur. Missing mint marks, weak mint marks, or unusual mint mark characteristics can raise questions and spark interest among specialists. In rare cases, coins without expected identifying features become subjects of intense study and debate. Wrong planchet errors represent one of the most dramatic possibilities. These occur when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even a different coin altogether. A 2013 Lincoln cent struck on a foreign planchet or a planchet meant for another U.S. coin would immediately stand out due to differences in weight, thickness, or color. Such errors are extremely rare and, when authenticated, can reach astonishing values. Condition plays a massive role in determining value, especially when discussing figures in the millions. Most error coins enter circulation and pick up wear, scratches, and damage over time. While these coins are still valuable, the most extreme prices are reserved for coins in uncirculated or near-perfect condition. A pristine 2013 cent with a major mint error is far rarer than a worn example, and rarity drives demand. Professional authentication is essential when dealing with coins believed to be extraordinarily valuable. Experts use magnification, measurement, and comparison with known varieties to confirm that an error is genuine and occurred during the minting process. Once certified, a coin gains credibility and becomes eligible for inclusion in major collections or auctions. Certification transforms a curious object into a recognized piece of numismatic history. The idea of a modern coin like the 2013 Lincoln cent being worth $321,000 million may seem unbelievable, and in everyday collecting terms, it is. Such valuations exist at the extreme edge of possibility, where uniqueness, historical significance, and collector competition converge. In this realm, traditional price guides no longer apply. Value is determined by what elite collectors are willing to pay for something that may be one of a kind. If a coin exists that combines multiple rare factors, such as a wrong planchet, dramatic double die, major die break, and exceptional condition, it becomes a legendary object. Wealthy collectors, museums, and investors may compete fiercely for ownership, driving prices to unimaginable heights. At that level, the coin is no longer just money, it is art, history, and status combined. My dears, if you love discovering hidden treasures, unbelievable stories behind everyday objects, and the shocking truth about coins that look ordinary but can change lives forever, then you are in exactly the right place. Now we're diving into one of the most fascinating modern coin mysteries in American history, a story that begins with a simple 1-cent coin and rises to a jaw-dropping valuation that sounds almost impossible. We're talking about the Liberty 1-cent Liberty 2014 U.S.A. coin, a penny that most people would ignore, spend, or lose between couch cushions, yet under extraordinary circumstances and rare conditions, it has been linked to a staggering value of up to $3.2 billion. Yes, a single penny, originally meant to be worth just 1 cent, becoming the subject of intense curiosity, speculation, and fascination because of rare errors, mint mark anomalies, production mistakes, and once-in-a-generation possibilities that transform it from pocket change into legend. At first glance, the 2014 Lincoln cent looks familiar. It carries Abraham Lincoln's portrait, a design Americans have seen for generations. Millions of these pennies were struck, circulated, and spent without a second thought. People dropped them into jars, paid for small purchases, or forgot about them entirely. And that's exactly what makes this story so powerful. The idea that something so common could, under the right circumstances, become extraordinarily valuable challenges how we think about money, rarity, and history itself. It's not just about the metal. It's about what happens when human error, machine imperfection, timing, and chance collide. To understand how a 2014 penny could even be discussed in the same sentence as a multi-million or even multi-billion-dollar valuation, we need to slow down and look deeper at how coins are made and why mistakes matter so much in the world of numismatics. Every coin begins its life as a blank planchet, a small metal disc prepared to receive a design. For modern pennies, this planchet is primarily zinc with a thin copper coating. These blanks are fed into high-speed presses where enormous pressure stamps the design onto both sides. It's a process that seems simple, but when you're producing billions of coins, even a tiny deviation can create something extraordinary. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark on the 2014 penny, is one of the busiest mints in the United States. In 2014 alone, billions of Lincoln cents were struck there. With production at such massive scale, quality control systems are designed to catch errors, but they are not perfect. When an error slips through, it becomes a silent survivor of a flawed moment in the minting process. Most errors are minor and hold modest value, but some are so dramatic, so rare, or so unique that they rewrite expectations entirely. One of the most discussed possibilities behind the extreme valuation of a 2014 Lincoln cent involves mint mark anomalies. Since 1990, mint marks have been integrated into the die itself rather than punched in by hand, which theoretically reduces certain types of errors. However, this doesn't eliminate them completely. A mispositioned mint mark, a distorted mint mark, or a mint mark showing unusual doubling, splitting, or deformation can still occur due to die damage, misalignment, or excessive wear. If a 2014 penny were discovered with a mint mark anomaly never before documented, especially one combined with other errors, it could instantly become a one-of-a-kind piece. Another powerful factor is die errors, which can dramatically change the appearance of a coin. A double die error, for example, occurs when the die itself receives the design more than once at slightly different angles. This can cause doubling in letters, numbers, or even Lincoln's facial features. True double dies are among the most prized errors in numismatics because they are not damage caused after minting, they are mistakes embedded in the coin at birth. If a 2014 penny were found with an extreme double die affecting major design elements in a bold and unmistakable way, it would immediately attract worldwide attention. Then there are off-metal and wrong planchet errors, which are among the most sensational possibilities of all. Imagine a 2014 Lincoln cent struck not on a zinc planchet, but on a completely different metal intended for another denomination or even another country. Such errors are incredibly rare, especially in modern minting. A penny struck on a silver planchet, a copper alloy meant for older coins, or even an experimental or foreign blank could instantly become legendary. The rarity of such an error, combined with its modern date, would make it a once-in-a-generation discovery, some of the most valuable coins in history owe their status not just to a single error, but to a perfect storm of multiple mistakes occurring at once. A hypothetical 2014 D penny that features a wrong planchet, an extreme double die, and an unusual mint mark anomaly would exist outside normal valuation rules. In cases like this, the value isn't determined by price guides or past sales alone. It becomes a matter of private negotiation among elite collectors, museums, and institutions, where the price reflects prestige, uniqueness, and historical significance rather than simple market averages. Another fascinating aspect is the role of transitional errors. Transitional errors occur when a mint changes composition, design elements, or production processes, and leftover materials or dyes are accidentally used beyond their intended timeframe. While 2014 was not officially a transitional year for pennies, the U.S. Mint has a long history of unexpected overlaps and experimental testing. If a 2014 D penny were proven to be struck on a material not authorized for circulation that year, it would open the door to extraordinary valuation claims. Condition also plays a crucial role. A coin with dramatic errors but heavy wear may still be valuable, but a coin preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition with full mint luster is exponentially more desirable. If an error coin survives untouched, never entering circulation, never scratched or worn, it becomes a time capsule. The idea that a flawless, error-laden 2014 D penny could exist, hidden away in a roll, a mint bag, or a forgotten collection, is part of what fuels the imagination and excitement around these stories. Beyond the technical aspects, there is also the psychological and cultural factor. Modern error coins challenge the assumption that only old coins can be valuable. They remind people that history is still being made, that rarity is not confined to the distant past, and that discovery can happen anytime, anywhere. A schoolchild checking change, a collector opening a bank roll, or a worker sorting coins could unknowingly hold something extraordinary. The valuation figure of $3.2 billion is not about a typical sale price. It represents a theoretical upper boundary driven by uniqueness, global attention, and the possibility of a coin existing that breaks every known rule. In numismatics, once a coin enters the realm of singularity, where nothing comparable exists, traditional pricing models collapse. At that point, value becomes a reflection of desire, status, and the willingness of the wealthiest collectors or institutions to secure something that can never be replaced. Stories like this also serve a deeper purpose. They encourage curiosity, education, and respect for the minting process. They inspire people to look more closely at the world around them, to question assumptions, and to appreciate how even the smallest object can carry immense significance. A penny is no longer just a penny when it becomes evidence of human imperfection, industrial complexity, and historical accident, and this is only the beginning of the story. There are still more layers to explore, including specific error scenarios, real-world precedents from other legendary coins, the role of authentication and grading, and how discoveries like this could reshape modern coin collecting forever. Now, my great history lovers, I'm really glad you've joined this journey because what we're about to explore challenges everything most people believe about money, value, and the quiet power of small details. Today's story begins with something so ordinary that most of us would never look at it twice. A 1-cent coin. A penny. Specifically, the Liberty 1-cent Liberty 2018 USA coin. A coin you may have spent, dropped, ignored, or left sitting in a jar without a second thought. And yet, under extraordinary circumstances, this very coin has been linked to a staggering potential valuation of up to $3.16 billion, a number so large that it seems almost unreal when compared to its humble face value of just 1 cent. At first, this sounds impossible. How could a modern penny, minted just a few years ago, be discussed in the same breath as legendary treasures? That disbelief is exactly what makes this story so compelling. The world of coin collecting, especially the specialized world of mint errors and rare production mistakes, operates under rules that are very different from everyday economics. In this world, rarity, uniqueness, historical context, and human error can transform something common into something priceless. The 2018 Lincoln cent carries a familiar design. Abraham Lincoln's portrait faces right on the obverse, a symbol that has appeared on American pennies for more than a century. The reverse, depending on the specific issue, reflects the modern shield design, representing unity and strength. Millions upon millions of these coins were struck and released into circulation. They passed through hands, cash registers, vending machines, and banks across the country. Most were never examined closely. And that is exactly why the rarest examples can hide in plain sight. To understand how a 2018 penny could even theoretically reach such an astronomical value, we have to understand how coins are made and where things can go wrong. Coin minting is an industrial process that depends on precision, speed, and consistency. Planchets are produced, inspected, and fed into high-speed presses that strike thousands of coins every minute. Dies are engraved with the coin's design and are expected to function flawlessly through massive production runs. But machines wear down. Metal behaves unpredictably. Humans make mistakes. And when even one small thing goes wrong at the wrong time, a rare error is born. One of the most important factors in extreme coin valuation is the presence of mint errors that are genuine and dramatic. A simple scratch or dent doesn't count. True mint errors occur during the production process itself. These errors are frozen into the coin structure, making them permanent evidence of a moment when the minting process failed to behave as intended. For a 2018 Lincoln cent, such errors could take many forms, and when multiple errors appear together on a single coin, the value can increase exponentially. Mint mark errors are one major category. By 2018, mint marks were no longer added manually but were incorporated directly into the die. This reduced certain types of mistakes but did not eliminate them entirely. A mint mark could still appear distorted, doubled, incomplete, or mispositioned due to die damage, excessive wear, or improper alignment. A 2018 penny showing an unprecedented mint mark anomaly, especially one not recorded in official references, would immediately draw intense interest from experts and collectors. Another powerful contributor to extreme value is the double die error. This occurs when the die itself receives the design more than once at slightly different angles or positions. The result is visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. True double dies are among the most respected and sought-after errors because they are not caused by damage after the coin is made. They are part of the coin's DNA. If a 2018 Lincoln cent were discovered with bold, unmistakable doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, the word liberty, or the mottos, it would already be valuable. But if that doubling were extreme, unique, and combined with other errors, the coin could enter legendary territory. Planchet errors represent another extraordinary possibility. A coin struck on the wrong type of metal is one of the most dramatic mistakes a mint can make. For pennies, which are typically zinc with a thin copper coating, being struck on a different metal entirely would be shocking. Imagine a 2018 penny struck on a copper planchet meant for an earlier era, or on a blank intended for another denomination, or even on an experimental or foreign planchet. Such an error would defy expectations and immediately become one of the most talked about modern coins in existence. There is also the possibility of missing or partial plating errors. In these cases, the thin copper layer that coats the zinc core may be missing entirely or only partially applied. This can result in a coin that appears silver gray instead of copper-colored, with uneven textures and unusual weight characteristics. While partial plating errors are known, an extreme example from 2018 that escaped quality control and survived in pristine condition could become incredibly valuable, especially if it exhibited other anomalies at the same time. Die cracks, die breaks, and cuds also play a role in high-value error coins. As dies wear out, they can develop cracks that transfer raised lines or blobs of metal onto the coin's surface. A massive die break that dramatically alters the coin's appearance can make it instantly recognizable and highly collectible. If a 2018 penny were struck during a moment when the die was catastrophically failing, producing a one-of-a-kind visual effect, it could command enormous attention. Another layer of intrigue comes from off-center strikes and misaligned dies. These errors occur when the planchet is not properly positioned during striking, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or shifted dramatically. While off-center coins are not uncommon, extreme examples combined with other errors are exceedingly rare. A 2018 penny struck far off-center, with a visible date and mint mark, plus additional anomalies, would be a standout specimen. Then there are transitional and experimental possibilities. While 2018 was not officially a transitional year for penny composition, the U.S. Mint is constantly testing materials, processes, and technologies. History has shown that experimental blanks and dies sometimes accidentally enter circulation. If a 2018 penny were proven to be struck using an unauthorized material or experimental process, it would instantly become a landmark discovery. Condition cannot be overstated. A coin with extraordinary errors but heavy wear will always be valuable, but a coin with the same errors in perfect, uncirculated condition is in a completely different league. Mint state coins preserve the moment of creation exactly as it happened. Full luster, sharp details, and untouched surfaces turn an error coin into a museum-quality artifact. The figure of $3.16 billion represents a theoretical ceiling, not a typical auction price. In numismatics, once a coin becomes truly unique, pricing is no longer based on guides or comparisons. It becomes a matter of private negotiation between elite collectors, institutions, and museums. At that level, value is driven by desire, prestige, and the impossibility of replacement. There is also a powerful psychological element at play. Modern error coins like a rare 2018 penny capture the imagination because they remind people that history is still being written. You don't need to dig up ancient ruins or inherit a centuries-old collection to make a discovery. You might find something extraordinary in your pocket, your change, or a forgotten roll of coins. This story is not just about money. It's about awareness. It's about understanding that systems designed for perfection are still vulnerable to imperfection. And it's about how those imperfections, when frozen in metal, can become priceless. This is only the first part of the full story. In the next continuation, we will go deeper into real-world precedents, authentication and grading, how discoveries like this are verified, and how a single coin can change the future of modern coin collecting forever. Now, I'm genuinely glad you're here, because what we're about to talk about challenges everything most people believe about money, value, and the ordinary objects we touch every day. Today's story centers on a coin so common that it often goes unnoticed, so small that it's easily dismissed, and so familiar that most people never imagine it could be special. The Liberty 1 cent Liberty 2021 USA coin. A modern Lincoln penny. A single cent, something people drop on the ground without a second thought. And yet, under extraordinary and extremely rare circumstances, certain examples of this very coin have been associated with a staggering theoretical worth of $3.1 billion, a figure that seems almost absurd when compared to its face value. At first glance, that number feels impossible. How could a penny from 2021, a year still fresh in memory, be discussed in the same breath as priceless works of art or legendary historical treasures? That disbelief is exactly what makes this subject so powerful and so fascinating. The world of coin collecting, especially the specialized field of mint errors and production anomalies, does not follow everyday logic. In this world, mistakes create rarity, rarity creates desire, and desire can create unimaginable value. The 2021 Lincoln cent carries forward one of the most iconic designs in American history. Abraham Lincoln's portrait, dignified and instantly recognizable, has appeared on the penny for more than a century. The word liberty sits proudly on the obverse, along with the date 2021 and the familiar motto. On the reverse, the modern shield design represents unity and strength, a symbol of a nation bound together. Billions of these coins were struck and released into circulation. They passed through banks, stores, vending machines, and hands across the country. Most people saw nothing special in them, and that is precisely why the rarest examples can remain hidden in plain sight. To understand how a 2021 penny could ever be associated with a valuation of $3.1 billion, we have to understand how coins are made and how that process, despite advanced technology, can still go wrong in remarkable ways. Coin minting is a complex industrial operation designed for precision and speed. Blank metal discs, known as planchets, are produced to exact specifications. These planchets are fed into high-speed presses where engraved dies strike them with immense force, imprinting the design in a fraction of a second. Every step is carefully controlled. Every measurement is monitored. And yet, no system is perfect, machines wear down. Metal behaves unpredictably. Human oversight, no matter how skilled, can never be flawless. When something goes wrong at just the right moment, a mint error is born. These errors are not damage that happens after the coin leaves the mint. They are flaws created during the very moment of the coin's birth. That distinction is critical. A scratch or dent means nothing. But a genuine mint error becomes part of the coin's identity forever. One of the most significant contributors to extreme value is the presence of mint mark errors. In 2021, mint marks were integrated into the die itself rather than punched by hand, a system designed to reduce mistakes. However, this system did not eliminate errors entirely. Die damage, die wear, and manufacturing defects can still cause mint marks to appear distorted, incomplete, unusually shaped, or placed in unexpected ways. A 2021 penny displaying a mint mark anomaly never before documented would immediately attract intense scrutiny from experts and collectors worldwide. Another powerful category is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike coins receives the design more than once at slightly different angles during its creation. The result is visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. True double dies are highly respected because the error originates from the die itself, not from post-mint movement. If a 2021 Lincoln cent displayed strong, unmistakable doubling on Lincoln's portrait, the word Liberty, the date, or the motto, it would already be valuable. If that doubling were dramatic, bold, and unique, it could elevate the coin into legendary status. Planchet errors represent another extraordinary possibility. Modern pennies are typically made from a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. A 2021 penny struck on the wrong type of planchet would be an astonishing discovery. This could include a blank intended for another denomination, a foreign coin planchet, or even an experimental or test planchet. Such an error would immediately be noticeable through differences in weight, color, thickness, and sound. A penny struck on the wrong metal challenges assumptions about modern mint controls and becomes an object of intense fascination. Closely related are plating errors. If the copper coating on a zinc planchet is missing entirely or applied unevenly, the resulting coin can appear silver gray, blotchy, or strangely textured. While minor plating errors are known, an extreme example from 2021 that escaped quality control and survived in pristine condition would be exceptionally rare. When combined with other errors, such a coin could become almost priceless. Die cracks, die breaks, and cuts add another layer of intrigue. As dies are used repeatedly, they can develop cracks or structural failures. These defects transfer raised lines, blobs, or missing sections onto the coin's surface. A massive die break on a 2021 penny could dramatically alter the appearance of Lincoln's portrait or the shield on the reverse. If only a small number of coins were struck before the die was retired, those coins would be incredibly scarce. Off-center strikes and misaligned dies also play a major role in extreme rarity. These errors occur when the planchet is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. While minor off-center strikes are relatively common, extreme examples that still show a full date and mint mark are far rarer. A 2021 penny struck dramatically off-center, yet still identifiable, would already be highly collectible. Combine that with doubling, plating errors, or die damage, and the value multiplies. Another extraordinary possibility lies in transitional or experimental errors. Even in modern times, the U.S. Mint experiments with materials, coatings, and processes. History has shown that experimental blanks or dies can occasionally escape into circulation by accident. If a 2021 penny were proven to be struck using an unauthorized or experimental process, it would instantly become one of the most important modern coins ever discovered. Condition is absolutely critical. A coin with extraordinary errors but heavy wear will always be valuable, but a coin with the same errors preserved in perfect, uncirculated condition exists in a completely different realm. Full original luster, sharp details, and untouched surfaces preserve the moment of creation. Such a coin is not just a collectible, but a time capsule. The theoretical valuation of $3.1 billion represents an extreme scenario where multiple unprecedented errors exist on a single coin, combined with absolute uniqueness and perfect preservation. In numismatics, once a coin becomes truly unique, traditional pricing guides lose relevance. The value becomes a matter of private negotiation among elite collectors, institutions, and museums. At that level, the price reflects desire, prestige, and the impossibility of replacement. There is also a powerful psychological element at play. Modern era coins like a rare 2021 penny captivate people because they prove that history is still unfolding. You don't need to search ancient ruins or inherit a centuries-old collection to make a life-changing discovery. Something extraordinary could be sitting in your pocket, your change jar, or a forgotten roll of coins. The Liberty 1 cent Liberty 2021 USA coin, under the rarest and most extraordinary conditions, represents the ultimate reminder that value is not always obvious. It teaches us that mistakes can create beauty, that attention to detail matters, and that even the smallest object can carry an enormous story. It invites us to slow down, to look closer, and to question assumptions. This is not just a story about money. It is a story about curiosity, awareness, and possibility. It's about the idea that something ordinary can become extraordinary through a rare combination of circumstances. And it's a reminder that sometimes, the most incredible treasures are the ones we almost overlook, hiding quietly in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to truly see them.